So let's put it out there. When you open up a new tab, you just have to make sure each time that your proper database is selected. If not, it causes you to cause a little bit of throw off because you are not looking at it. Okay. Basically, in the database operations, as a software developer of SQL, what are the operations that you will be looking at? Three major operations that you do. One is insert operation, second is update operation, and third is delete operations. Right? Basically, these are the three operations that you do. You will have you will have uh, data coming from various applications. All you need to point is the right procedure to capture or write. Um, Maybe I'll just take out the procedure for now as well. You will be taking out the. You will be putting up the right information. You will be putting up the right information. So basically, when the record comes in, you either want to insert it, you either want to update it, or you want to delete it. In this example we are going to do, and the reason I love this example is because I don't need to write three procedures to do one two typical database operations. I will be doing, I will be creating one uh, step process which will do all the three things for me. So I'm not in giving, hey, I'm giving the front end developer and saying that, hey, if you are using the insert, use this procedure. If you are using the update, use this procedure. If you are doing the delete, do this procedure. I can utilize this uh, merge, insert, update, and delete procedure in SQL Server to do that. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So in this example, I have a products table. I have products table. Let me just alter my table a little bit. If I can get this example as well from the, because I copied it from the internet. So if I can get some help from Google, so I can just do my, yeah, I got it. Yeah, this will be a good example to start with. Well, let's create a new query. Control V. Let me just drop this table. This table is going to be dropped, and it is going to be dropped. Okay. In Kimte database, I don't have two tables at the moment. Let's say if I'm not relevant to these existing table, this is just a uh, brand new example that I'm going to mention. I have two tables. I'm creating two tables. One is products table, and I'm going to insert some records in it. And then I'm going to click on creating update products table, and I have some insert queries for that. Basically, what I am doing is I have a product master table where I have all the product related information, which I created 5, 6 years ago to create when I was opening the company. I entered 5 products in it. Later on, with the inflation, I need to change some product prices. So, and I need to add some products. So as you can see, I have product number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I have 1, 2, and 3 already there, and 5 is the new product. So product number 4 is obsolete now. I'm not, my company does not manufacture it anymore. Product number 1, 2, and 3 have their prices updated. Product number 1 has the price same as $10. I'm not going to change it because it's my prime product. The other two products has price change 20 to 25 and 30 to 35. 40 is not needed anymore, so I can get rid of it. And then I can add number 5 to my list of products. A typical business scenario where you are adding products, where you're updating products, where you are inserting product. And that's basically mostly you will be doing in the business situation. So how can I go about and do this in an easier way? Let's create let's create this whole infrastructure first and have a look at it. So once I do that, I'll go into the table and I'll click on refresh. These two tables are created. The product table is created and the updated product is created. Although in the real business scenario, this product table would have been created a long time ago. All I will have is this. So now my target is to my next target is to run the statement in such a fashion that my new product gets inserted, my existing products will get updated, and if the product is deleted, is not in my new list, then that product should be gone. So my my first table that I want to get get affected has to be called as a target table. Okay, so if you are seeing merge is the starting part of it, but basically you are saying during the merge these operations should be followed. First of all, identify what will be my target table, which table will get affected, and from which table it will get its most up-to-date information that will become the source. So the target table becomes the product table, and the source table becomes is the most up-to-date table which has the information that will be putting the information in the target table and updating that. At the end of the day, my product table is my product master which my company uses. What are the commonalities between the two tables? First commonality is the primary key, that the target's product ID should match with the source product ID. If they are matching, and if they are not matching, and if they are uh, not there at all, what do you need to do? When matched by the target, when the IDs are matched by the target, what are the things you are going to be doing? Obviously, when the IDs are matched, this ID and this ID is matched, you will be updating the either the product name or rate, right? Maybe I'll just okay, yeah. If it is already created, I'm not going to worry about that. But for the giggles, I want to create something of that scenario. When they are matched, when IDs are matched, and two things can happen. Either the product name are different now. I want to update, let's say from tea to I will call it orange pico tea or steep tea or something like that. I want to give it a better name. Or more importantly, the rates may have been changed, which in this scenario, if I look at it in the product ID number 2, 20 is changed to 25, muffin is changed to 35. Don't worry about the pizza and biscuits and all that other at the moment. So when IDs are matched, either two things can happen. Maybe the product name is changed, or the rate is changed, or it could be the third column, or it could be the fourth column, or it could be the other thing. So you are not sure when the update query will run, what attributes will be updated. So if it is a bigger table with more than three columns, you will have to include all those columns no matter what. This is just a standard definition that I'm telling you. Then, if this has happened when mashed, then what should happen? The update statement will run because you are not sure whether the product name is updated or the rate is updated or the third column or the fourth column. So you will keep doing that. Target dot product name is equals to source dot product name. Target dot product name, target dot rate is equals to source dot rate. Target dot xyz column is equals to source dot xyz column. You will have to keep putting with a comma all the columns name which you have. If you have 25 columns, you will be doing that. It will be a fatty statement, but that's not the point. It is easier to just copy and paste and just change the column names. When not matched by the target, what is this scenario? When the id of the source and the target does not match, it is little difficult to it is difficult to it is difficult to understand at the moment that which is target and which is source. It always confuses that source will be the products table, but keep in mind source is the new table that you are going to be using, because that is the one that is going to updating the target, which is your master table. So that is one confusing part that you have to clear in your mind. The target will be your actually older table, and your updated table with the source table will be the is the table from where you will be getting the most up to date records. In that scenario, when not match should happen by the target, when you don't find that in the target, what will happen? So update happens when $20 is updated to 25. IDs are matched, but the one of the column is not matching, whether it's a rate or the name. In this scenario, when the target is not matched, obviously then target does not carry that number 5 in it. So what you need to do, insert that into the target, because target should or master should be updated to the latest products that are going to be added. So that's what I am asking it to do. If not, when not matched in the target by the target, if it does not exist, insert that using the insert statement in the target. What are the values that should go? The one that is coming from the new source, that is saying that add the product id, add the product name, and add the source rate. If the id is created using the identity key column, you don't have to mention the product id. The product id will be picked up by the product original product table on its own, using the identity column property, saying that identity means starting from one and then seed with one column or with one number at a time. Remember that we did it in the last class. But in this case, obviously, the product ID is not the primary key. So the product ID is not defined as an identity key, but it is still the primary key. So I'm going to insert it manually. So there are two kind of scenarios that you will see as a starting programmer. Sometimes uh, the primary key is defined using the identity column, and you don't have to worry about it. It will automatically get inserted for you. But if it is a primary key, but it is not defined as an identity key or automatically incremented or automatic, then you have to explicitly insert that, knowing what will be the primary key that you will be inserting. And you have to make sure that you're inserting the new, you are up to date in your work, that you know what will be the next product ID will be. You're not mixing up with the older one. And that's a risk that you might run into, that if you are adding a new product without knowing its new ID and you put a number 3 in here, your previous product will get overwritten. So you have to really be careful that, because in that scenario, if 3 matches with the 3 and you mix pizza with the muffin, your muffin will be gone out of your product list and your pizza will take over if you accidentally put 3 in here. You have to keep that in mind. So you have to be really careful in that scenario. That is why auto number will save your day on those situations where you can think you can manually make some mistakes, or some other employee who's entering into the master can make mistake. And that's a typical business scenario that can happen. And you will, and I don't want, because this is, in this situation everybody's pointing finger. So you might want to know, you don't want to be incurring in that situation. But let's coming back to the topic. ID will be getting updated from the source, name will be getting updated from the source, and source rate will be getting from the source. So in this situation, the source is 5 pizza and the products table. So if you look at this, new row will be inserted. Last thing, when not matched by the source. So if you look at the source, if it is existing in the master table but not matched in the new table, then this has to go. This is my obsolete product, then this has to go. So this is what it is reading, is that when not matched by the target. So you have to be very careful. It is very, very close saying that when matched, when matched, update. When not matched by the target, when matched by the target and when not matched by the target, then you need to be inserting that. But when not matched by the source, I'm going to open up this one now. I'll have to get rid of this. When not matched by the source, if source does not have it, then delete it in the target table. Then delete it in the target table. So it means that it will delete that in the target table. Which row? This old product will be deleted. So now, if I run this now, what will happen? Product number 1 will stay the same because T has the price 10 and the product name is 10. And let's for moment, let me create this product table, and I'll just say, I'll say steep tea. I'm going to rename it to be a steep tea so you will know that what is happening. So I'm going to create a table back again, and no, 4 new rows are inserted. So you can check that the updated product has the name updated, but the price is still the same, right? So now if I run this query, now if I run this query, 4 things will happen. Tea will be changed to steep tea, price will stay the same. Coffee will be updated to coffee, but the price will be updated to 25. Muffin will be updated to 35, and biscuits will be gone, and pizza will be added because of those, all of these operations that I'm saying. But I had these, all these operations have to be written properly. That's one thing. This is this could be, for the first sight it could be difficult to understand, but believe me, it is not difficult. If you understand, you are covering all the scenarios. So now if I run this now, and at the end, lastly, it is showing me this variable which is showing, and I'm not going to do this other operations, but lastly it is showing me how many rows got affected due to all these operations that you run just above. So let me just do this right now. 5 rows affected and 5 changes will have happened. And if I go back to the products table now, when I created the product table, it was looking like this. But now if I go to the product table, it has taken all the beating from the updated products table. And if I run this now, my product table is updated to steep tea. Coffee is changed to 25. Muffin is changed to 35. Number fourth record is gone because it is used in the deleted part when not matched by the source. And the last part is pizza is added. So do I have to write three procedures to do all these different operations? No. One procedure is taken care of, and this is the typical people will be writing four procedures, three procedures for all these different operations. You don't have to. Just one procedure and make your life easier. And you know where it is happening. And this is just a very simple example of, and the last part is the row count showing you. Any questions on that? And it is one of my favorite topic because it makes life so much easier. You don't have to, uh, and that's, as a programmer, I also like to say that making multiple duplicates for different tables makes your life difficult because you have to identify what procedures, what views, typically what procedures are affecting those tables. So now you need to have as a tester, software tester, as a developer as well, you need to have a comprehensive list of what objects are getting affected from which procedures and which functions and which views. Because if you are changing or adding a column or altering the table structure, that is one, or renaming a column, that is one change that you are making, but it can totally jeopardize the processing of it if that column does not exist anymore or renamed or added. View will not show that because it was added after the view was created. So every particular object that is changed, you need to keep identification of that. That is, you need to have a comprehensive, not an Excel sheet, please, not an Excel sheet. You need to have a comprehensive list of, as a starter, yes, you can keep it in an Excel format, but you need to have a definitely a good version control system like Git to know what is affecting what table, what objects are affecting which objects means obviously most probably the table. If you added a column, then you have to go into the view and add that column in that particular view. If you added a column in the procedure, in the table, then you have to identify what column that you need to add into that procedure. So the next time when you'll run this, so if you have added a column in this, you need to make sure that you go into this procedure and change that. And see, this is a ripple effect. If you change one thing in one table schema wise, this will be a long term effect. Oh, I forgot to do this. Oh, I forgot to go into this table. So you will have to make sure that when you are doing it, you have to have a checklist of this is done, this is done, this is done, this is done. So that if you are committing to a change, you did it for a couple of hours downtime, you make sure you hit all those objects. Because if something goes on, then you will be scrambling. Okay, I forgot to do this. Now production is uh, failing because this column is missing out of it, or it is renamed, a new column is added, so it is still not showing the most up-to-date information. All those scenarios will happen as a developer, so you have to make sure that you are doing that. But the cool part is that you have done it all in one procedure, and that's where you have to take care of one baby, not four babies, to do that. And that's, as a programmer, you have to think of those scenarios as well to make your life easy. Making one program and just be done with it, and um, cleaning your hands off of that, saying that, oh yeah, I've done it, it's working. Yeah, it's working on one part but might be failing on the other part, right? So this could be a typical scenario that can happen. Let's say I'm going to delete one more time. A very small thing that I want to mention. I'm going to delete this product table and I'm going to delete this. Now, these are created. But I'm very reluctant to delete anything in in my database. I want to, why I'm reluctant? I still want to keep my biscuits, even though they are obsolete, but I don't want to delete them. Maybe at some day I will revive my company and I will have that back again. So all I need to do is go into this column, go into this, go into this statement and make sure that I comment this part out. Once I comment this part out, it will not delete the biscuits. It will keep the biscuits. Maybe I sit one day and go through the list of it and say, no, I'm not going to make biscuits anymore. So I will delete it. But that's one day you will sit and audit your list of 100 products. But at the moment, just leave it as this. Make sure that you put the semicolon because it requires semicolon where the merge update statement is completing. So I put the semicolon back again. I commented this line because I don't want to delete perform this operation. So now if I run this, I will have, I think, 4 operations will happen because I will not be performing the delete operation. So if I'll run this, 4 operations have been performed. Row count variable is returning me. Let's go back and open up the products table. Biscuits are still there. They are not deleted. Prices of my new products have been, my older products have been updated. My new product has been added, but biscuit is not deleted. And that's why I say usually I don't want to delete things from database. I usually want to have another flag called active true or false, whether it is true or false, and then you just don't need to worry about. Ask your programmers that when you are writing the where clause at the front end or you are picking up this, just pick up the active products. Don't pick up the inactive products. Enabled, disabled, that kind of idea. Correct. So this is how it's been done. But keep in mind, I mentioned that you cannot run these statements in the function always has to either return the table or the value. We learned the functions in the last class, so this has to go in the stored procedure. So I want to make this as a permanent change because this is just a set of statements. If I close this right now, this will be gone. So if I will be you, I will be putting this in the stored procedure and will be putting this stored procedure that every morning I will come to the office and I will just run this procedure. So let's say I come this morning, I don't have to worry about anything. I'll just say, okay, I need to run this procedure. Control C. Run this procedure. Done. Nothing is updated this morning. You can tell we have no new products added, no new products deleted. We don't have any price update. We haven't deleted anything, but we are not deleting anything anyways because you see it is kind of commented out. So right now, every morning I'll come and do this. This takes me to another question, that one last part is that I don't want to be coming in the morning and running this procedure manually. I want to make it automated. So is there any automation available in SQL Server? Yes, there is. Microsoft Azure portal has that as well. It is called run book over there. Here it is not called run book. I can see at the moment I'm not looking or finding anything like that. I'm thinking there is one, but if it is not, I can go and create an automation process for it. So let me just see if I can find that. So give me a moment. I'm just looking at my notes here to find that script for me. Desktop dash. I have a very funky name, so I'm just trying to get it really quick so I don't have to worry about that. There you go. I am just ready in a moment. Okay, got it. So I am going to write something here, Control C. Okay, so I'll go here. Let's start all over again. CMD. I'll go to command prompt. I'll type this command which says SQL CMD, which is SQL server command line minus S desktop, and then this. So it tries to run this command. I'll say it is trying to run this. SQL CMD, this, go. Okay, so select, get date, go. Here you go. Cool. I have now connected to my server instead of SSMS. SSMS is not required anymore. I connected to my SQL server with the server name, username, a server name, and I said, okay, I'm not very proficient in it, but as you see, I said select get date, which is showing me the date, and this date is not coming from the command prompt. This date is coming from where? SQL server is giving me that date. Correct? So I'll say Uh, Select. Show me the database that is named that is currently selected. Select. What database usually gets selected when you open up SSMS? Usually, this database is always selected. Master, right? We always have to go and drop down and change it. So you'll say select. What is the DB name I want to select? So let's say if I'll say I want to show what is the database that is currently selected, DB underscore name. And every time I have to do this, I think I have to select, I have to type go. So it is saying to me that the current database selected is master. So I'm just thinking, can I change my database from master to Kimte? That will be handy. So I'll say select. Hopefully it let me do that, but because I don't write too much command line. So let's run that. No, it didn't like that. So I'll say I want to change the database to some other database. Okay, yeah. Select Kimte and say go. Okay, let me find that out as well actually. I'll just write a simple query. New query. I haven't done this, so please bear with me on that because I haven't done it. I'm just trying to do it right now. Um, so I'll go into the database. Select this. Use Kimte slash go. So I'll copy this. And I'll say I don't need to say this one like this. I'll just say paste anyway and then go. Database context change to Kimte. Good. Okay. Next procedure. Exec. Exec. The name of the procedure. What is the procedure that I wanted to run? Copy this. Actually, I'll just get rid of this. Go. Cool. It did find, it did not find any change. So this is the one. This one row affected is showing that I just ran your command that you wanted to me to run. But basically it says 0 row got affected. So what are the sequence of steps that I have done? I've logged into the using this. This is just my test command just to show you the test. Then I showed what currently that I'm connected. I don't need this as well because I don't want to be connected to the master. I was able to switch to Kimte using this. And then I said, I want to run this command. So I can run this. So would it be nice that if I put this in the task scheduler or something that it will run automatically? So if you have patience, let me try that out. Notepad. I will try it out because now I have been able to manually run these commands from the command prompt independent of my SSMS. So this is my first command I want to connect to. And keep in mind, right now I'm using SQL Server Windows authentication. If I would be using SQL Server as authentication, then I will definitely need to provide -u, which is the username, whatever be the username, and -p password, and then provide the password as well in the course for sure as well. So this will be that. But right now I'm using Windows Server authentication, so that makes my life little easier. So don't have to provide that. And reason I can tell is that if I'll say connect Object Explorer, I'm using Windows authentication. If it would be SQL Server authentication, what two boxes are in it now? Login and password. And I definitely need to pass that as a parameter into this statement, but I'm not going to do that. Then I'll say this one failed for me. And then I said select Kim Tae and go. So I'll say select Kim Tae. That was my statement. And I say go. Next statement that I wanted it to run, not select, sorry, it should be use. Sorry, my bad. Use Kim Tae and go because this failed as well. And the last one I was saying it did says to me that this one ran, and I'll say go as well. So let me select these two lines, and I'll say enter because enter selects from the command prompt. So this goes here. I don't want two, and this one is done. So let's say file save as. I'm hoping it runs, and I'll say I'm just copying it in my desktop on my documents, and I'll just say automatic dot should be a better name, automatic update of the products or something like that, dot batch file, and I'll say save it as a batch file. So if I'll save it as batch file, and the last thing I wanted to do is called pause. So I want to make sure that it stops there for the first couple of times to show me once it is done. I will change this pause. I will remove this pause, because usually when you double click on the command prompt, the screen flashes and it does, you don't know what has happened. You want to see what has happened, so you want to stop it there. So I'm hoping it runs. If it doesn't run, I have done enough push into this to show you how you will do it, and this is how you will be doing this. You can do it later on, uh, and there are so many other ways that can make your life so much easier to do some automation tasks. So if I'll go back here, if I'll click on automatic, it just shows me and stuck here. So that's my failure. I can't do it here. It's not failed, it's just stuck on login, and after that it did not run any of the rest of the commands that I wanted it to be. So I can open, so right click on it, and I want to give it one more try and drag it here and drag it here. Here's my command. So it did here, and then it got stuck here. It didn't run all of these rest of the commands. So if somehow I will be able to ask it to run, so you will have to bear with me because I found something for it. So I'm going to create something. So you will be seeing what I'm doing, but I will have to first. I found another script to do that, so I will definitely going to be trying that. I don't know what this does, but so let me first cheat all these ones that are not running. So I'll just copy and paste it here. These are my commands that I wanted to run because those are the commands that did not run. And actually, yeah, and I'm going to use that and say that um, product update dot SQL, correct? And I'll save it as all files, save it. This is now saved as product underscore update. And I don't think so this will work. So I'll say save, close it. And that SQL file is done. So I have two files now. One is an automatic, and the other one is product update .sql file. So I will ask the automatic process to run this file for me if it can kindly, and I'll say SQLCMD, and I'll say I'm just copying and pasting the code. I don't know what are these switches are. We'll have to check it out on Google, but it is saying that you need to provide the path of this SQL file. So I'm just going to say, give me the path, please. Copy as path and paste this path here. .sql. Correct. So now I have this path. So basically, all of these commands that I wanted to run, I put that in this SQL file. I will be logging in and then immediately running this file which I created with these switches. So I don't know what are those switches, but let me see if it runs. And the reason what I'm asking is if I run this right now, the screen will just flash. The screen just flashed on my other monitor and didn't show me what happened. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change one of the product and see if my procedure runs. So I have too many. So I'm going to change to pizza, cheese pizza or something. Instead of pizza, I'll just say cheese pizza. So steep tea will remain steep tea. Coffee will have no price change. Muffin will have no price change, but the pizza will be changed to cheese pizza in the target table. So let's run this. And after I run this, double click on it. After I run this, I will go back and check in SSMS and whether it has updated or not. So that is my final try. After that, I will call it a day. So screen just flashed on me. I'll go to the products table. Hopefully it has run. No, pizza hasn't changed. So the procedure is running somewhere, but it is not completely running this file for me. But I showed you that I was able to manually run this. It would be nice that it would have run for me, but somewhere it is getting stuck. So if I'll go here and last try, I want to see what is happening. So I'll open up the notepad one more time. And this is the struggle that I have to do as a programmer, that this is going to show me some errors or not. So I will have to check the errors. So now if I run this, let's see if it paused for me. So it is showing me, oh, it does not know. So because of the pause, I was able to stop it here, and it says, I don't know what does that mean. So it is not of a big of a issue. Maybe I'll just get rid of these extra switches. That should make my life easier. So if I'll go back in automatic, and I don't know why it is not showing up that I can open up this in a notepad. So I'll open up like this. It does not know what does O means, so I'll just get rid of that O, save it, close it. Yay! Good. One good part, that it is able to log in. It was able to find that there's an update SQL file. Inside that update SQL file, if I open up this one, with Notepad++, let's see. Under there, I asked it to do a couple of things. Change the database, which is changed, which is changed, and it says that change the database, but it did not change anything. 0 rows affected. So let's recreate the scenario. Get rid of these tables, get rid of this table, Let's recreate everything. So now it is recreated. Everything is recreated. The structure is there. Let's click on automatic. Here you go. I'm the winner here. I'm able to log into the server and I said, please run this file. It says yes. I'm changing the database because these are my steps which I have asked it to. I can open up in Notepad or Notepad++. Yeah, it is there. Then I said, please run this procedure. It ran this procedure. And with the help of pause, I am able to see that it is done. Once I'm very comfortable with it, I can go back in automatic and I say it will be running. So I don't want this prompt to be open in my in front of my face. I'll just go to Notepad and I'll say, okay, open up this automatic and please remove this pause because I don't want. So when I'll double click, screen will flash and it will be run. And what file it will run? It will run this SQL file for me. So I can run this by coming to the office every morning, double click on automatic. Can I make it further improved? Can I make it further improvement on this? Can anybody tell me, please? How can I further improve it? I was able to create the procedure. I was able to test my procedure. Final thing I was doing is I will putting it in the in an automatic process. I was able to do that as well. Can I do that so that I don't even have to double click this file? It will run automatically for me at 7 a.m. in the morning. Every morning, I will have an update in my master. How can I do that further? You should have an idea. Should. Mm, yeah, we can. Let me see what other. Good, Kimberly. Yeah, there's an scheduler, but has an additional charges, I think. Yeah, you are right. And that, sorry, I just saw your message. Uh, yes. The only other thing that I can tell to save some money, if you have SQL Server Enterprise Edition, good. Kimmy mentioned it. Windows Task Scheduler. Windows Task Scheduler. Let's go to the have you guys created any task in Windows Task Scheduler? If you're not, usually if you have Windows SQL Server Express Edition does not have too much functionality with it. You will have you once once you once your company once you are a small company, you can live with SQL Server Express Edition, but not for long. So you will definitely have to buy SQL Server Enterprise Edition, which I don't know how much it costs, or Microsoft Azure if you want to be on the cloud. If you have SQL Server Express Edition, which is the most cheapest, which is the free version actually, if you are starting to outgrow of it, and if it is just a local server, then you can live with that on that, but not for too long. But let's say if you are being cheap and you don't want to buy that, you can put this in the task scheduler. So if I'll go in the task scheduler here, should be fairly easy. So if I go in the task scheduler, it is loading, it is showing me all the crap tasks here. I'm not worried about that, but let's see. I'm going to create a new task. So I'll say right click, create basic task. I will just say uh, update underscore product. And I can do 5 different procedure in that SQL state on that SQL file. Now you see this. If I want to run 5 different jobs in the morning, one for my manager, one for blah blah blah, one for from another database, one from another database, I can just cram everything in here, but I have to make sure that I know which one job is dependent on another job. Daily, I want to schedule it daily. I want to schedule it at 7 a.m. in the morning, whatever time is I'm happy with, and have a schedule every day, recover every day, start a program, browse the file. Where is that file is? It is under my documents. And if I go here, automatic, next, finish, done. So now it will run every morning at 7 a.m. and next runtime is tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. If I want to run it right now, I can run it right now. So my manager says I want this to be right away. You don't have to open up SSMS. You don't have to do it. You go to task scheduler, right click, run it. It will automatically run it for you. Here you go. It has automatically run it for me when I right clicked and click run. Because I have not removed the pause, it is still bugging me to show the pause. I will just go back into the automatic task and I'll just remove the pause, and this screen will appear and disappear for me. And now it is still showing it is running, but I have to click refresh. So I'll press F5 and it was running. So it is ran. Last ran created on this date. Last runtime is today at 10:04. Here you go. So I know that what time it ran, what time it did, what time it failed, what time why my jobs is failing. Because sometimes this can happen. Your job might be failing, your job might have an issue. You can change some settings, you can hide this or whatever you want to do it, trigger action. So general trigger, now you should have a good understanding of what trigger means. Triggering at 7 a.m. So triggers could be of different type. At the particular date and time, at the particular time when the record got inserted or record got deleted, or whatever you want to do it. Some of it, this is an old, this like task scheduler is there forever, like since Windows 98 or 95. I've been seeing it. It's an old cow in this town of Windows. So uh, it is very reliable in that sense. uh, but yeah, if you want to put some extra money and go buy Microsoft Azure, SQL Azure, then you might have to move all your data onto the cloud first before you even done that. But that's a separate project of its own. If you have SQL Server Enterprise Edition, you might have a job scheduler available. Somewhere in my SSMS, I will find it and I can schedule it there. But if I want to be really cheap and I want to run my task from there, I can do a whole lot of good. Everything is available for me. But you have to make sure that the tasks are not failing in the task scheduler. It is running. So just keep an eye on it. What time it ran, what time it ran last, when it will run tomorrow. So for the next week or two, just examine that it is running. Yes, it is running. It is running. Because you don't want to be in the situation that it didn't run at one day, then your product's master will not be updated. Okay, so that is the topics that I want to cover. One of my favorite topic was to show you merge, update, and delete. And then this is the uh, task scheduler, how you can create job in there, and then you can ask to automatically run. So much good stuff that you can do now with SQL Server. I believe so because you guys have learned a lot in these sessions.